Voila, like magic. Here I am. Welcome to What the Fuck Thursday. Like I said, it seems like it's taken me a whole week to recover from doing a show. So they're going to be on Thursdays for a minute here because I need the whole 7 days to, recharge my batteries and find the strength to do this again. But it's good to be, doing stuff. One of the main things they want you to start doing is doing things that you're used to doing so that your brain, kind of repatterns itself. So that's what I'm doing, but I just have to take it a little slower than what I thought I was going to have to. But I'm glad to see so many people here. Hey, Kiki. Sue is back. Hey, I was wondering what happened to you. And who is? Oh, Janae is here too. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have Shay, but we'll do what we can do, okay? But before we get started too much, let me remind everybody to take a minute and like a video, this one or any other, share a link or two, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you doing that. Help the channel grow. So let's see, we're going to have 16 advice questions again. As you may recall, I said we're going to tone it down a little bit until I'm back up to full speed. But 16 is good. Well, I think that'll do. And you guys are welcome to, put your comments if the letter writer is in your country or your state or your city, and you have some information that would augment the answer that I have, then please feel free to put it in the chat. Everybody who has written a letter, please be advised that you can listen to me as well, but please read the chat and see if they have any additional insight into what you're asking. Okay, some of them have more experience in certain things than I do, like the dating apps. Don't even waste your time asking me because I've never even seen one. Okay, I mean I have ideas about how people should act and all of that, but if you're going to ask me specifics about a dating app, I don't do online dating. I refuse. So anyway, let's get started. We got 16 questions, and this is question number 1, written by a young lady in the 28 to 34 age group, writing about a male in the same age group. She writes, I'm 29. I've been dating my boyfriend. He's 32 for 4 months. Over the course of our short relationship, it has become very apparent to me that he is extremely sensitive to rejection. When he has brought up the fact that his feelings were hurt by something I said or did that he perceived as a rejection, I will first try to. Wait a minute. We already had this letter last time. What is this doing here? Did I pick up the wrong column? Oh, shit. I printed out the wrong thing. Candace is going to kill me. Okay, you guys, hold on. Let me go in there and pull the right one off the printer. This is terrible. I cannot believe I did that. And it's all my fault because I know she sent the right thing. It's my screw up. What am I going to do? Oh, yeah, I have an intermission, don't I? Where is it? Where's my intermission thing? Oh, here it is. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. What a dummy. Jeez Louise. Okay, I had the right one this time. Right date. I'm messing up big time. This is the first time I've ever done that. Okay, I'm going to just say stroke brain. That's my excuse. Okay, we still got 16 questions, though. So here we go with question number 1. Let's start this all over again. Okay, this is a male in the 28 to 34 age group. He's a Capricorn out of Seattle, Washington, writing about a female 28 to 34 who is an Aries. I don't know if that combination is a good one. Anyway, let's see. Hey there, I'm 29. I've been dating a 30-year-old woman for about 7 to 8 months now. Recently, we got very close and shared that we both like each other. She sees me as someone to marry and raise a family with, really, in only 7 months. A week ago, she quit her firm and moved to another one while I was planning a vacation. Because of her career change, I decided to put off our vacation plan. Last Wednesday, I messaged her, but she didn't reply, so I figured she was busy because most people in her career are. On Friday, when I asked her if she was okay, she messaged me telling me that me, quote, hey, XXX, is everything okay? Her, quote, I am on vacation, booked a last minute flight in Hawaii. Wow. I was hurt that she didn't tell me, but now I'm thinking that she has no right to tell me because we aren't official yet. Wait a minute. Okay, let me finish this. I told her that the fact that she went on vacation without telling me upsets me. What do you and the ladies think? Do I have the right to be upset? Nope. You know why? I'm going to tell you there's a couple of reasons why you don't have no right to be upset. And if you had, I'm glad, I hope you didn't say too much other than that you were upset, but even that alone would have got you cussed out by me. Let me tell you why. You spending 7 or 8 months with somebody who's 30 years old and you haven't made it official yet, you lazy bum. You're just a bum. You want to keep your options open. You love the fact that she sees you as someone to marry and raise a family with, but you're not doing nothing. You're not taking any steps forward. You're just relaxing and chilling and resting in your femininity on her decision like that, knowing that she's all in, and so you don't feel the need to step it up. That's why she went on vacation without your ass, okay? Which is exactly what she should have done because you're not official. That means you ain't her man. That means she can go anywhere she want to go with anybody she want to go with anytime she pleases and don't have to tell you squat. She can send you a postcard from when she's there, and you better be happy to get it. So, I know that's not what you thought you was going to hear, but that's what I have to say to you. You can't have it both ways. Okay? You want to lock the woman down where you have all these obligations and ties and all this kind of check-ins and all this kind of stuff. Those kind of things only happen within a committed relationship. And only if the person wants to do it, because see, I don't even do that. I was married and still didn't do it. I go where I want to go. You'll see me when I get back. But a lot of people like that part of a relationship. So you seem to be one of them people. You're only going to get that once you step it up, home skillet. You're doing this little free form dance here and thinking that you're going to have like serious boyfriend and committed boyfriend relationship type privileges. It's not going to happen. And she taught you, she told you, did she? The other thing I want to get on you about is, okay, you just arbitrarily decided on your own to change the vacation plan. That's again, see, you didn't go run that by her, didn't you? But you want her to run her stuff by you. You was full of shit. I hope you understand. You wrote the wrong person if you thought it was gonna be holding your hand and be on your side. You messed up first, and then she did what she was going to do in response to how you did. You canceled the vacation. She changed the job. She got a week of downtime. She took off and went to vacation on her vacation. You canceled it. So she figured you didn't want to go. So she went on and went with her friends or whatever, whoever she went with. You better hope it wasn't another man. Question number 2. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. Oh, another Capricorn from Sheffield in the UK. I am in my mid 30s. Oh, well, this is that age. She checked the wrong box. And completely fed up with my partner saying he wants kids with me, but not actually doing it. He frequently says he'll be over the moon if I, quote, fell pregnant. I've told him I'm on the pill and reminded him he doesn't want me to come off of it, to which he says, well, we will eventually. Then the following week, we'll walk past the family and he will comment on how sweet the baby is and that he can't wait for all of that and is excited that he will have something that he considers to be the best experience ever. That part's in quotes. I've asked him directly why he does this, and yet we are not actually trying to conceive. And he just says that we will soon. I've asked when specifically, and he will agree to a time frame when I say by July. But then it gets to July, and he pushes me away with not yet. And then the comments continue about how great it would be if it happened. It's gotten to the point now where I am so unhappy and sad. I'm not getting any younger, and he will be celebrating his 40th birthday next year. My best friend says to come off the pill and not tell him, as he's given every indication that he wants it. I don't feel okay with doing that though. It's not how I imagine things, and it makes me so, so sad. I don't want to get back out there dating. I just wanted a family. Well, it's like this. People in hell want ice water too. Do they get it? No. And you ain't gonna get no baby out this man. He just stringing you along. This is the kind of sucker. He gonna fill your head with hopes and dreams and keep you, on the hook like that until your period of opportune pregnancy time passes, and then you're in the high risk group. That's what he's trying to do. He doesn't really want any kids. This is just bait to keep you there. So what you do is you tell him, look, I've waited long enough. I'm sick of this. I'm out. Deuces. I'm gonna go find me somebody to have a baby with because that's what I want for my life. Now, if you want to have it in a relationship, you can do that. Otherwise, you can go to one of the banks where you can just look in the catalog and pick a father for your child, and then have the baby that you want to. Because trust me, if you try to do what your friend said and get pregnant, and thinking that he was gonna step up and be the father, you would be sorely disappointed. This is all talk. I mean, I don't understand why women base so much of their relationship and their life plans on a man who don't do shit. He just runs his mouth. He's talking all this stuff and filling your head with smoke and mirrors, but he hasn't actually done anything. Not set a date and say, well, let's talk about going off the pill starting this date here. I have this much money in the bank for the kid. I have this health insurance lined up. I've already put some down payments on some furniture. We got to enlarge our house. We're going to move on this date here so we have enough room. I mean, there's no plans being made. You see what I mean? He's just running off at the mouth, and you're just buying into it and hoping and hanging on and all this kind of stuff. Now, admittedly, you're pretty young. You're in your mid 30s, so you still got time, but the clock is ticking, and I understand what you're saying. So let's say around 33, 34, 35 years old. That's mid 30s. If you want to have kids, the time to start on that journey is now. So that's what I would tell them. Say, you've strung me along long enough, and I'm gonna move on now. And you go and find somebody else who's also in his mid 30s who's looking for what you're looking for. It's not hard. So a lot of men, quiet as it's kept, want to get married, have a kid, and all this kind of stuff. They be complaining that the women don't want to, because a lot of women don't want to have kids anymore. You do, so it should be fairly easy for you to find someone who's on that page. And you're not talking about being married and stuff. You just want to have a kid. So there's another stumbling block that you eliminate. So I'm not really sure how you feel about what I just said. You say you don't want to get back out there and dating. Then go to the bank. And you know what kind of bank I'm talking about. And handle your business and do what you need to do. You'll be a single mom, but like I said, when you quiet as a skip, you talk to most women that are married, they live the life of a single mom. So husband's only there with some money, which you could also get from child support. I don't see what the big deal is. Okay, let's move on. Question number 3. And remember, look in the chat, because we do have a lot of visitors from the UK, and they might have some insight into some, more specifics that I don't have. So be sure to check out the chat. Okay, this is a young man in the 22 to 27 age group. He's a Cancer, and he's from Sacramento, California. He says, I love my girlfriend, but she is so, and he put a whole bunch of O's, and it's all in caps and everything. She is so, oh, Shay, you made it. Hey, girlfriend, I'll touch base with you after the show. She is so reactive to everything. She's the kind of person who has to have things a certain way, or she starts freaking out. She pinches pennies and gets upset if we have to drop a lot of money or even on even necessary expenses, even though we're both very financially secure for the area we live in. She says she wants to go back to school, and so do I. But she says she doesn't want to change anything about her life because she wants to be able to. Oh, hold on a second here. I'm still using up the last of that case of the sticky paper that I bought, that cheap crap. She wants to be able to predict and control things. It's finally starting to dawn on me that I might have a total problem being with someone long term who needs to keep such a tight lid on things. Ignoring the fact that life is inherently unpredictable, surprising, and you need to be able to roll with the punches. I just can't imagine life being very enjoyable if she needs everything to fit within such tight parameters all the time. I want to live my life with a sense of flow and grace. Any advice on how we can work on this? There's no working on this. Let me tell you why. What you're talking about is a basic personality trait. Personality traits don't change. She's been like this since childhood. There's nothing about her. This thing is here. It's not going to change. Also, when people flip out like that, they tend to lack a very necessary psychological coping skill called resilience. She's not flexible and she's not resilient. So when people who need everything to be, controlled and to know what to expect and know what's going to happen and, all this kind of stuff, when something goes awry, they lose their cookies, like you said, and then they tend to be just devastated because in their mind, the only way for it to happen was the way that they imagined it was going to be happening. And that's the perfect way, and that's the only way, and everything else means failure. So they tend to go into a hole of, depression and confusion, low self-esteem, beating themselves up. Sometimes it's anger and rage. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff, but none of it is positive. So you definitely, especially once you're going to be talking about having some kids, rolling some kids up in the mix, you have to be resilient and able to roll with the punches because kids don't follow nothing. You try to put a baby on the schedule, the baby be like, I'm running this household. Where? Look at me, make all these grown-ups jump up and run around the circle. Where? And that's exactly what happens. Everybody jump up and run around and try to make that little sucker stop screaming. You be doing handstands, backflips, the running man, and the moonwalking, anything you can think of to make that kid stop screaming. So, you're right. I like the fact that you can take what's behavior that's being demonstrated and look at it into the future and what it's going to mean. Good job, really good job. I wish more young people would do that, be able to see what stuff means and then, apply it to the future and make decisions accordingly. They don't just look at what's happening right now and then think, well, if we get married, if we have a kid, later it'll be okay, it'll be better. It's not going to be better. If anything, it's going to get worse. So I understand that you want to try to save the relationship because other stuff might be, really good. But what you're talking about, see, this is like a scale to me. So say there's 100% for, everything is good, it's 100%. And then you have this one thing, but it weighs 80% of the 100%. It's just one thing, but it's such a big thing that it overrides all the other good stuff, which becomes like shrunk, a little minuscule thing in comparison. This here would drive you crazy. And I had a relative who did she got upset because her kid put a pot somewhere that she couldn't find it. And she had a 10-minute flip out about this damn pot. I just couldn't understand it. Why? Just go buy another one. You know what I mean? I can't with that. But some people are like that, and they just need, everything to be the way that they expect it to be all the time, or they just lose it. So unless you want to face that kind of, hysterical response, the best thing to do is to just deuce out on this. It's not a good bet for a wife and mother, somebody who can't be flexible. All right, let's move on. Question number 4. Interesting comment. Okay, this is a young lady, 22 to 27. She's a Taurus and she's from Virginia. I feel lost. As a teen at 14, I endured an emotionally and verbally abusive relationship. My family was concerned at first, but eventually gave up on me and said, when you're tired, you'll end it. That's true. That's what happens. I was bullied as a kid, and he made me feel accepted when I insecure about my appearance. It negatively impacted me at age 18. After ending it, I isolated myself from the world. I didn't have a job or personal life, but took college courses at home online. My job was to babysit for my sister and do chores. It made me feel that my sole purpose was being a wife and a mother instead of focusing on a career. Getting a job helped at $8 an hour. Wow. to learn to communicate with others and get work experience. I feel confident about myself, but the environment takes a toll on me because coworkers try to emotionally dump on me, including teenagers. They have no sense of boundaries or privacy. Wow. What? Oh, I try to end these inappropriate conversations politely. They have emotional breakdowns constantly. Examples: a girl with an eating disorder will talk about starving herself. A guy thinks maybe he should be a girl because the manager purposely called him mama. Wow, that's fucked up. He asked several women, and young kids are just so messed up. I'll get back to that in a minute. He asked several women if he not looked or acted girly. Told me a story about how he used to steal bows from his sister and wear pigtails. All of this that's going on at work. Another coworker told me about her mother dying and how ready she was for her mom to die because of the stress. I feel like a failure still. I used to be an A+ student. Assignments included designing okay, I don't need to know all that. It's hard for me to focus after working all day. I'm still expected to help babysit, and my grades dropped. I'm a B, C, and D student now. I'm always exhausted, stressed, and overworked even on a good day. I pay for college out of pocket, so each semester I use all my savings on tuition and fees. My brothers aren't expected to help with the child care. One of my brothers isn't even trusted around kids. He hasn't abused anyone to my knowledge. He just got mental issues. Everyone says I'm a bad sister for openly saying that I don't like or trust him. Then they want me to watch him when he's around the kids. Part of me wants to be needed and accepted. It's not like my sister. I can't do it all. Work, be a mom, go to college, and come out on top with good grades. My family expects me to want to be a mother, wife, and act feminine or stay in a woman's place basically without saying it, trying to convince me that I want marriage and children. My grandma gave me books on emotional healing and gave me one of her roses for Mother's Day because I'm like a mom. How do I stop wanting to be needed? How do I stop wanting my family's approval? Do you have any time management tips? You don't need time management. You need to move. That's what you need to do. This is what you're gonna do first, okay? I don't know how long you've been working. You didn't say with how much work experience you have now in years, but whatever it is, polish up your resume and start interviewing and get you a better job, okay? Get you 2 jobs. You need a job so that you can work on the weekends and you can work during the week, and hopefully get a swing shift type of job so that you're out of the house when they want you to babysit. Whenever that is, you need to be gone. Okay, now as far as being around the kids, being around your weird brother, that's your sister's responsibility to watch her kids and make sure her kids are protected. If there's any problems with that, just drop that dime to CPS. That's all you have to do. It's like, they will come and take the kids and put them somewhere else, or far away from your brother and your raggedy ass sister. That's what they'll do. So, I mean, that's not your problem. That's not your responsibility. I don't understand why you have shouldered all of this. Um, but yeah, that's the main thing. Whatever you did to get this $8 an hour job, now it's time to advance yourself to something else. And you want to, every time they offer overtime, you want to take it. Every time they want somebody to work on the weekends, you're going to do it. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to save your money and you're going to move out. That's what you're going to do. You can move into a situation where you share a 2-bedroom place with some other young lady. Hopefully a 2-bedroom, 2-bath place. So you have your own bathroom. That's the best. Whatever you need to do to get out of this situation. I don't understand this work situation. These people are crazy. I mean, this kind of conversation on the job is so inappropriate. And you saying it nicely, that's not going to work when you have young people, because they just like you said, they don't have any sense. So when they start talking about that kind of stuff at work and say, look, what made you think I want to hear that? That's not being rude or mean. It's asking them a very serious question. What makes you think that I want to hear all that kind of stuff? And this thing about starving herself, she got to eat it. I'm mean because I tell you, somebody came to me with an eating disorder talking about they gonna starve themselves. I would eat right in front of her and then be like, look, don't you want some? But you starving yourself today? You're weird. I would say stuff like that. I mean, I don't do well with people that have afflictions. Because I just see that as a weakness. And I see that as a situation where I'm going to just rub your nose in it just because I can. Don't tell me stuff like that. Don't tell me stuff like that, especially at work. That would be a mistake. Okay, then The dude who thinks that he should be a girl because the manager called him mama, he was supposed to report that to HR because that's sexual harassment. There's all kind of rules against that kind of stuff. You can't even call people by the wrong pronouns. You think you can go around calling a man mama? That is a violation of federal law. So the kid, that's what you should have told him. You need to report that to HR because that's inappropriate. That's sexual harassment. And then he's gonna not, be taking and asking women if he looks girly and stuff like that. He's so confused. He don't even understand about his masculinity when somebody's trying to punk him. Okay. Another girl telling me about her mother dying and how ready she was for her mom to die. I would have busted out and started laughing. I don't know. This is probably not a good question for me to answer because it's hard for me to take these people seriously. But for you, you have to learn to put up some boundaries. And what's probably going to help you is, like I said, to go out and get you a better job. Put that on your agenda to start looking online over the weekend rather, and putting in your applications on Monday and interviewing as soon as possible. Okay. How do you stop wanting to be needed? You're not needed. This isn't being needed. This is being used. Reframe that. Is she paying you? You know how much it is for babysitters? Especially if you got more than one kid, look it up online and see how much you get cheated out of. Then how do you start wanting your family's approval? You get some self-esteem. First of all, they're not approving of you, they're using you. You have this all in your head like these people care about you and what you're trying to do for them and all this kind of stuff. They don't give a shit. If it wasn't you being used, they would find somebody else. Girl, you got to start to think about this different, okay? And then you said, do you have any time management tips? You don't need, like I said, time management. You need a new job. You need to make time for yourself and your life and your choices. That's what you need to do. Hey, Vanna. Yeah, they are messy. I just don't get it. These people, I just don't understand it. How somebody could come to work and talk about that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to hear all of that. I wouldn't even let a girl come to my desk and cry. She's coming to my desk crying and whining about an email I sent to everybody. Everybody got the same email on the BCC. I guess she didn't know that because it came to her mailbox. She thought it was just for her. And she came to my desk crying about the email, and I was just looking at her like, wow, you really at my desk crying. Like, I couldn't believe it. And then I said, let me interrupt you for a minute. I'm not telling you that you can't cry and be all in your feelings and all the stuff that you seem to be doing, but you just can't do that here. You can't do that at my desk. You got to go take that stuff back to your desk because I don't want to hear all that. And I told her that real clear, real straight. My boss was like dumbfounded. He's like, oh, I can't believe you said it to her. I said, but I'm supposed to just sit there and suffer because you want to cry at my desk? I don't want to hear that. I didn't even let my kid do that kind of stuff. I'm not going to be letting no grown woman that is not my child stand at my desk on the job and cry her eyes out like a big baby. I'm not going to do that. You want her to come in your office and cry? You could have invited her in here. All you had to do was say, come over here. And she would have went in your office and done all that. But she wasn't doing it at my desk. And then he was like, oh. And then I went on back to my desk, and that was that. I don't understand it. You scared to go in there in the boss's office? I used to bust in mine all the time. He's like, oh, are you here again? Can't you just send me an email? I'm like, nope, I want to say this to your face. Tell you how raggedy you are. Anyway, let's move on. Try question number 5. We have 16 questions today. My computer did a scan. Oh, no. We have 16 questions. This is number 5. This is a young lady in the 22 to 27 age group. She's a Virgo from Portland, Oregon, talking about a male who is in the 28 to 34 age group who is an Aries. Well, I don't know. That sounds like an interesting mixture. Okay, I am 27 and have been with my 28-year-old boyfriend for just a couple of months, but I'm already having second thoughts. I think he's a nice guy and we have a few things in common. We both like video games and hockey, but there are a lot of things about him that bother me. To be honest, many of them are complete turnoffs. Since the relationship is still new, I feel I should probably end things before they get too serious, but I need help figuring out if I should do it. Here's a list of the things that are bothering me, so you guys can vote too. Does she stay or go? stay or go. Number one, he has no productive hobbies. Most of his free time goes to smoking weed, vaping, and playing video games. I don't even know what that is, but I think it's important to have more creative hobbies and active hobbies that get you outside or being creative, like hiking, playing music, doing yoga, biking, writing poetry, etc. That's what she does. Hmm. This is number two, he pressures me to smoke the herbalicious with him, which I did do once because I felt pressured. I don't generally smoke or drink, but he kind of made me feel like I was being boring for not wanting to do those things with him. Number three, he generally looks down on my being on antidepressants. He has encouraged me to stop taking them and try cannabis instead. Number four, he has made racist and prejudiced derogatory remarks towards a sports player that really bothered me. I expressed to him that these are inappropriate and upset me, and he just shrugged it off. To me, it says a lot about who he is as a person. It makes me think ahead to if we had kids, how would he react if they were gay, trans, or were dating someone of another race? Number five, he doesn't have many friends, and the few that he does have, uh-oh, he rarely sees or puts effort into. Number six, he complains a lot about his job and has threatened to quit numerous times without having any sort of backup plan or other education. He doesn't seem very ambitious or motivated in his career, and it scares me to think of what he would do if he actually quit. Number seven, he can be difficult and high-strung at times too. In general, I feel like I might be settling, but do you think I'm being too sensitive or difficult? Are my expectations too high? I don't have much experience at dating, so this is all new to me. I am very close with my sister who told me it doesn't sound like he's the right man for me, but I wanted some unbiased opinions because my sister is very overly protective, LOL. Your sister is 150% correct. She's being very diplomatic. This guy is a bum. He's dusty and he's a druggie and he's an idiot. Number one, let me tell you, since you don't have much experience with men, any man who pressures you to do anything that you don't want to do that is going to possibly hurt you, like anything drug related, smoking, drinking too much, doing risky behaviors that could put your life or your very health at risk, is nobody that you need to be with. Someone who really cares about you would go bend over backwards to protect you, not try to bring you down and break you and ruin you. Keep that in mind, number one. Okay, that's the first thing. You might only been the herbalicious, but the idea that you let yourself be talked into doing something that you didn't want to do and you told him no, and then you turned around and did it anyway, that is very, very dangerous behavior. His behavior was just super dusty and dangerous, and you listening to him was the most dangerous of all because it means you don't have good firm boundaries. You don't need to ever be with a man like this. You need somebody who's going to be just kind of protect you from that and making sure that nothing like that is given to you by anybody else, especially not somebody that you're supposed to be in a relationship with. From what I understand, my brother works in healthcare in Southern California, and one of his specialties is rehab and drug addiction and stuff like that. And he was telling me from the studies done by this healthcare company that he works with that more than 90% of women who use drugs were introduced to him by a man. They're either a beloved family member, like an older, relative, or a boyfriend or a husband. 90% of women. That means women are into that kind of stuff. We don't go out looking for that kind of stuff. Men bring that to us. And the women who don't have enough sense, enough spine to say no and to leave the vicinity where that man is and leave him alone, that's very scary to me. He told me that about 2 weeks ago. And I've just been holding on to that information and able to use it now. And this is a nationwide healthcare company. I'm not going to say the name of it, that has this specialty where they treat people in their centers and all this kind of stuff. And that is the result of their studies over 20 years. Over 90% of course, those are only the women that went through their programs. You know what I mean? They're not going to be in like the people that got treated, say at Kaiser or something like that. But this company, like I said, is a nationwide health insurance company, and more than 90%. So that to me is very scary, ladies. You need to get it together. Get your shit together and stop letting these men do this. Talk you into shit. You said no, stick to no. And if he want to keep on pressing you, you get up and you leave. You leave him alone because he doesn't respect you. You don't understand about respect. Look at that video series, the 21 signs that somebody's not is disrespecting you. It's 3 videos. I'm not sure which part of it has that in it, but I did talk about that in that video. Not only that, he don't do nothing useful and productive with his time. He's a loser. He's a bum. Okay, we talked about that. He looks down on you being on antidepressants. You keep fucking with him, you're gonna need to be on a double dose, okay? Because he's gonna take you down. He's racist. He makes these nasty racist remarks. Why would you want to be with his character is all kinds of fucked up. Why would you want to even think about being with a man like that? The second he did any of these things here would have been grounds for me to leave him. I'm not trying to figure out why you still with him. Okay, but you asked for your for assistance in figuring out if you should leave him. You should have been gone. You should have been writing a letter saying, Deb, I had this boyfriend. He was like this and that. And let me just tell you, I had to leave him because blah, blah, blah. Okay, then that would have made sense to me. But for you to be looking for permission and somebody to buy in while you leaving this idiot, that's why you date, girlfriend, to figure out, what it is about you guys that's in sync and what's not. You've dated him for a couple of months and you've already found all these red flags. These are big red flags, not like little pink flags, not like little yellow mini flags. These are big old room-sized red flags. Get rid of this clown. Get rid of this clown. And your sister, last time, listen to your sister. She's trying to protect you. Oh my God, this guy is just like a loser. Oh, somebody want to know what you found attractive about him in the first place? Probably because she said she doesn't have much experience with men. And he talked to her and he was like, oh, you're pretty. And, let's go out. And so she said yes. Women that don't have much experience with men, they tend to go out with the man who asked them. Because they don't know no better. They don't know any different. Whereas, somebody who's got more screening experience, you're going to do that $6 million man scan, knows that he smells like weed, and looking all red in the eyes and ain't talking about shit, then she would be like, no, thank you. But see, she admitted it. She doesn't have much experience. So those are the kind of young girls that get caught up with dudes like this because they don't know no better. Once you know better, you don't mess with them. We see them coming like 16 blocks away. Oh, dusty sighting, 16 degrees. And you're not going to mess with them clowns. So that's how he got her. She doesn't know. But I have to give you credit, though, young lady. You do have some good, your sense, your radar is working. You're able to peep out what's negative about this guy and what's potentially harmful and articulately discuss it. So good for you. You're on the right track. Keep that, but just kick that in earlier. Okay, once you start noticing even 1 or 2 things that you see could be a red flag in the future, then you deuce out then. You don't wait until you get a whole long list of 7 or 8 things and then try to decide then. You stop at 1, okay? Because any of them first things that you listed were all like major red flags that would sense incompatibility and no future here. Let's move on. Question number 6. This is the young lady in the 22 to 27 age group, Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm trying to figure out if I should walk away from this hot mess relationship or stay and try to make it work. Can you help me? We are both just 22 but have been together since we were 18. We are both currently in university. I'm in my master's and he is finishing his bachelor's. Things started out really good because we started out as friends. As our relationship grew, it feels as if we have grown apart. Why? He spends all his free time playing video games. Deb, I find myself always cooking and cleaning even after being gone for 12 hours a day with work and school. If I don't cook for him, he eats out. He doesn't plan for us to go on dates. He won't go to the gym with me and walks away when I'm talking about something I'm interested in if he doesn't like it. He always says I should be the one planning the dates, but I work 25 hours a week with full-time school and clients. He works 15 hours a week and cheats on his classes, but will find plenty of time to spend 8 to 10 hours on video games a day. Wow. I have expressed I need him to do more. I feel like I'm doing everything and it's burning me out. I want to do fun things with him, and it would help a lot if he would plan things for us, but it's just in one ear and out the other. He is bad at expressing how he feels, so he rarely compliments me or tells me he loves me. We haven't been physical in 4 months, even after I've expressed it. And you ain't married, please. It being important to me, along with me asking him to help around the apartment more. We've had multiple conversations where he is good for a week and then back to his old habits. He says things seem bad because we are both so busy, but in the free time we do have, he either watches YouTube or is playing video games. He is a good guy. He's smart, playful, handsome, and I know he would never do anything to hurt me. But I feel like this relationship is more of a friendship and we are two friends living in the same place. Any advice to help our relationship? I've thought about walking away multiple times, and every time I try, he says or does something that makes me think he will change. I really don't know what to do. I love him, but maybe there's someone better out there for me. Don't remove the word maybe from that sentence, and there you go. Okay, I'm going to tell this. I mean, how many times do you want to keep going around on this hamster wheel? Round and round and round and round and round and round. You ain't going nowhere. Nothing's moving forward. You ain't even had no nookie in 4 months. And you call this your boyfriend? He walks away when you're trying to talk to him. He don't want to do nothing with you. He ain't trying to plan nothing. He don't do nothing in the house. What are you? You are a slave. That's what you are. You a volunteer slave because you just stand there doing all this stuff trying to earn this man's attention, earn this man's time, and earn this man's love. What's wrong with you? You know, I used to make a joke about people, they take his hand and draw it way back and then come forward and slap yourself. You need to take this hand and ball it into a fist and punch the fuck out of yourself and wake up. That's what you need to do. Because there's nothing about this that makes any sense for any young girl to be in like this. Going through all these changes, you just like I don't know, like a donkey, just working yourself into a grave behind some man that's not even giving you no booty. I don't understand. I, just, I don't understand what it is that you're getting out of this. Why are you still there? Anyway, you think about it because, I can't tell people what to do. But, worried me, and what my advice is to you is to realize that this is no kind of relationship that you would waste even another 13 seconds on. Look at the video called The Sunk Cost Fallacy. It's here on this channel. I'll try to remember to link to it. But yes, I did a slap that graduated to a punch. You right? Because the slap wasn't enough. But look at the sunk cost fallacy and listen to that video about how women invest more and more time and energy in a losing situation. I think it'll make it a lot more clear to you why I'm saying what I'm saying and the mistake that you're making here. You're wasting all kinds of time with this man that you'll never get back. You'll never see those days, that time again. Poor thing. Let's move on. We got question number 7. This is a young lady in the 22 to 27 age group. She's a Leo and she's from El Paso, Texas. And it says friend, 28 to 34 Pisces. A good friend was broken up with last year by her boyfriend out of the blue. Understandably, she was devastated. For the last year, she's been on Bumble, and almost every other week, she finds a new guy to obsess over. In the 28 to 34 age group, she's acting like that. I'm not being dramatic when I say she matches and meets a guy, then he's all she posts about on Instagram and all she talks about. Wow, starts discussing the long-term life goals together, etc. when they have been talking on an app or on the phone for 2 weeks. Dad, we're in our late 20s. We're not teenagers. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited for her and I love watching her be happy. But when the relationship ends, it's not the right word, but I don't even know what else to call it. Fizzles out as so many online relationships do. She spirals out of control. I genuinely think she has unrealistic expectations sometimes and requires constant communication and validation. If the guy doesn't respond within a couple of hours, she says, it's over and he doesn't like me anymore. I've tried being supportive and letting her know that she needs to communicate these needs and that not everyone enjoys texting all the time. However, this cycle has happened so many times now, I'm kind of at my wit's end. Is there any way to be a good friend to her while also trying to communicate what I think is a relatively toxic cycle? Okay, so you've already told her, that this isn't a good thing, but you most likely did it in that little kumbaya soft way. What you're going to have to do is tell her, you got to basically give her two choices. Either not tell you about this kind of stuff, because there's nothing to be happy about. Your friend is a mental case. Something wrong with her. This is not normal behavior to be obsessive like that, especially at her age. That's shit like 14 and 15-year-old girls do. And they used to do that kind of stuff. I'd seen like, what was that group? Backstreet Boys and, them kind of groups. Oh my God, they were like fangirls. They would obsess about the guys and stuff, but, they're like adolescents. That's what they do at that age. Your girl's on the downstroke to 30 and she's still in that mindset. That's not good. What you should do is recommend that she see a counselor, see a therapist. Tell her what you said here. I'm concerned about your behavior because you get overly attached too quick to some guy that you barely know, and then you be all in and talking about him and just fixated on him and stuff. That's not normal behavior for somebody almost 30 years old. See a shrink. And you're going to have to just tell her bluntly. You can't be nice in a situation like this because your friends, I don't know, I couldn't even be bothered listening to this over and over and over. By the time she did it the second time, I'd be like, what the fuck is your problem? What's wrong with you? That's how I talk to my friends. We don't mince words. It's just like, you got a problem. You acting stupid. I say stuff like that to them. I mean, that's how we talk to each other, but it's out of concern because they're doing something that's going to ultimately hurt them. I can't sit by and watch my friends do some dumb shit. I just can't do it. So if they're doing dumb shit, I'm going to tell them it's dumb shit. Now, then if they decide to continue doing dumb shit, they can't say that they didn't know that it was dumb shit because I already told them. But see, you haven't told her. This is some stupid shit here you doing. What you doing? What you doing that for? Did you ever think about seeing a shrink? That's your next round with her. Sometimes, the best friend is not the one who's the nicest. The best friend is going to tell you about yourself so that you can do better. Take care of yourself, respect yourself, treat yourself with kindness. Your good friend is going to tell you when you're not doing that because they care about you. Sometimes your friend will care about you more than you care about yourself. And that's the situation right here. You care about her more than she cares about herself. So you need to, just stop being nice and just telling her. It, that kumbaya shit. I can't stand it. That step for friend stuff. And that relatively toxic. That's not relatively toxic. I'm telling you, she's batshit crazy. That's what your friend is. Something wrong with her. That's not normal for somebody that old. Question number 8. This is a female in the 28 to 34 age group, a Scorpio out of Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, Auntie Deb, Candace, and the squad. Shouts out. Deb, I'm so glad you're feeling better, and thank you for all that you do. Oh, well, thank you. My question is career related. I am currently a Spanish high school teacher and have taught in the middle school level as well for a total of 6 years. I think I have enough experience to know that I need to get the hell out. I've seen both sides of the coin. Low-income school with a predominantly black and Hispanic population, and the wealthy, predominantly white, privileged, and entitled population. Both have their good and bad points, but it boils down to anywhere I go, I experience a lack of respect as a teacher, being overworked, and students who are glued to their phones and do anything to do the least amount of work. The level of stress is astronomical. Oh no. I'm starting to plan my exit, but I'm having difficulty choosing another path. I used to work as a workers' comp paralegal with a small law firm. It didn't pay much though, but it didn't have benefits. I was around 25. I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. I chose teaching because the medical benefits were definitely there to help out with this condition. However, I'm also certain this level of stress has aggravated my condition. Each year I feel more and more exhausted. One of the things I wish for in a future job is to be less stressful, although I know stress can't be avoided. Being able to actually have weekends and leave my job at the office when the day is done is my goal. While teachers get the summer off, people fail to realize we work after the job is done during weekdays and weekends, prepping and grading for the next day. And most of the breaks during the school year are to catch up on sleep and catch up on grading. I go from extreme level of stress 10 months to a level 0 for 2 months during the year. And my body's not handling that cycle very well. I guess not if you have an autoimmune disease. I'm a native Spanish speaker and my BA degree is also in Spanish, which doesn't give me too much diversity in skills, but any suggestions for what I can do to bring that level of stress down? I don't want to go back to school as I'm 2 months away from paying off my student loans, and it'll be adding more stress. I currently make 50 grand a year, and doing a job that pays about the same or more, even if it's administrative, would be fine. The main thing is that I have medical insurance and bring the stress level down without needing a whole new set of skills. If you and the lady could share some types of jobs to companies that I could consider, it would be greatly appreciated. Thanks again. Oh, this is an easy one, girl. You're going to go on governmentjobs.com, and you're going to look on there, and you're going to look at all the administrative jobs. It's for federal and state and county jobs and city jobs all over the country. You can narrow it down, the search down to where you are. You can. They also usually have websites. Where are you again? Hold on a second, I forgot. See, I forgot that quick. Oh, you out of Atlanta? What's the Spanish population in Atlanta? I don't know. But if necessary, just move to the West Coast or New York or some place where, Florida or some place where there's a large Hispanic population. There, you would be making big money. Okay, you could work for a private corporation that does business in Latin America or in Spain or something. You could work with the government agency. Like I said, they're always looking for people that that are bilingual to work in a wide variety of jobs. And also, since you've been a teacher, you could be a trainer to teach different programs, like, I don't know, computer programs, or make presentations on one thing or another at a company, and help write documents and stuff, work as a translator. I mean, there's so many different things that you could do by having the skills that you have in the education training in Spanish. But look in the chat room over here and see what other ideas they may have. But those are mine. Start with the government. Start with the government, because they always looking for people that can speak, multiple languages. They be looking for Tagalog and Hindi and Spanish and I don't know what else, Vietnamese, and I mean all kind of stuff. If you're in the California area, because it's some people from every corner of the world, Laotian. I mean, they looking for people that speak all kinds of languages here. So you just find some place like that where you'll need to speak Spanish, and work in a governmental agency like Arizona, Texas, California, around there, and you should be able to find something anywhere. You might have to move, but I don't think you would be missing Atlanta too much. Quiet as it's kept. So yeah, look in there and see what what they have to say too. But that would be me. That's what I would say, because I know they always be looking for people to speak Spanish. Question number 9, female, 28 to 34, from Coventry, West Midlands in the UK, writing about a male who's 35 to 46 age group. I am struggling with my relationship because I cannot stand, and that's in caps, my boyfriend's friends. When we first got together, I made a big effort to get along with his friends and his family. But now that we've been together for more than 4 years, I realized that I actually dislike most people in his life. His adult daughter is rude and ignores me most of the time. She struggles to even say hello to me. He has pulled her up on this, and she now manages to mumble a polite greeting, but then will make any excuse to not have anything to do with me. His friends are pretty ghastly too. They always make me feel unwelcome. Again, he has addressed this, but we have fallen into a default of just never socializing together. It seemed easier that way, but it upsets me a lot. I think part of the conflict is because they are all still friends with his his ex-wife, and she has made it very clear of her need to remain queen bee. It has reached a point where I'm seriously considering ending the relationship because of how unwelcome I am made to feel by people close to him. Otherwise, we have a great relationship when it's just us, and occasionally my son when he's home from university. He gets on great with my friends and family, so it feels really unbalanced and I don't get on with his. Oh, that's it? Well, let me see. How do I put this? Why do you give a shit? Why do you give a fuck about his family and his friends and what they make you, quote, make you feel? I just don't understand it. I couldn't stand none of my husband's folks. Let me just tell you. Them was the most triflingest, low down, garbage pail kid people I've ever met in my life. His friends were trifling too. I didn't like them. I didn't like them to come to our house. I didn't like them to socialize with them. I didn't want to spend any time with them. I didn't want to look at their wives and girlfriends. I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't like them. But you know what? I didn't care, because he would go and socialize with them, and this stuff. I'm like, I don't care. I have my own life, my own friends, my own family. I wasn't too bothered about his. You know what? I'm just saying, what? Why? Why are you bent out of shape because of his friends and his family not making you feel welcome? I think that's all in your head. I don't understand what it is that you're looking for, but you want people to bow down at your feet, and then the fact that you mentioned his ex-wife and her need to be queen bee, that means you feel insecure and jealous. Otherwise, that bitch's name and presence wouldn't even have crossed your lips, let alone to write about it in a letter to me. You don't give a fuck about his exes. And if they are friends with him, so what? Why does that concern you? I'm just not, I don't get it. I think that you're putting your emphasis on the wrong thing. But, that's just me. Because to me, they would be a non-motherfucking factor in my life. But you're different from me, and you evidently need this validation from all these different people that you don't even fucking know. So what you do is you go and you tell him, I don't want to do this anymore. I need to be in a relationship with someone who worships me and whose friends and family think I'm wonderful and worship me too. Because that's what's really going on. You just want everybody to love you and kiss up to you and pay attention to you and stuff. And they don't. And as far as his adult daughter, I mean, you're supposed to give her what she give you. She want to be rude, you be rude back. Why are you sitting there looking all stupid and wait for your boyfriend to stand up for you? That's a woman to woman thing. You're supposed to check that little bitch. You don't let her talk crazy to you and treat you any old kind of way. I don't understand this. You need to grow up, lady. You in the 28 to 34 age group. You too old to be acting like this, needing all this validation and support and all this old stuff from these complete strangers. They're his friends. Guess what? They're gonna be his friends when you leave him, whether you be married to him or not. Whether they're gonna still be his friends, and you still not gonna like them. I'm telling you, I didn't like none of his. None of them. None of them. All he wanted to do was use him. I used to point that out to him. It took him a long time to accept it, poor thing. He just didn't want to. He didn't want to see them that way. But I would never just rag on or just say, well, I think it's interesting how when they call you to help work on their cars, you be right there. But as soon as you need some help, nobody was there. He had dislocated his shoulder and had to wear a cast, sling and stuff on his wrist, on his shoulder, because he was trying to put a car engine in by himself. The hoist that you rent at the store, at the rental place, he rented it himself, and he had two friends who were supposed to come and help him. They didn't show up. And, I wasn't doing nothing. I had just not given birth not too long ago. I'm not supposed to be lifting nothing. So I wasn't going to go out there and help him. And so he tried to do it by himself and ended up fucking up his shoulder. Every time they called him, he was right there. Every time he needed something, they would just not be there for him. So I just pointed that out. That's all I said. I didn't say, this motherfucking friends, you got this. I just made that one of those statements and just walked away. Just put something on his mind for him to think about. But this kind of stuff here, you're putting too much emphasis on it because they're not in your relationship. Okay? They're not in your relationship. It's just the two of you in your relationship. And if you're happy with your man, then that's what you'd be happy with. You're worrying too much about outside shit that don't have nothing to do with you. But you do you. Like I said, if that's important, you want to be, in battle conflict about some silly bitch that he's divorced from and the queen bee, as you put it, and you do that. Question number 10. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Brooklyn, New York. Hi, Deb and squad. I'll start off by saying that I am extremely anxious. I met this guy online 7.5 weeks ago, and it was looking promising. He's very communicative and forward. I was aware of how busy of a person he is when he started dating as well. He works in finance, the type of job where they work 12 to 14-hour days and even work on the weekends, have to travel for work. He gave me a heads up so that the next month or so would be very busy, which I understood. Within the first 5 weeks, we went on 4 dates, which were great, and he asked me out on a fifth, which would have been a week ago. I've met and hung out with his friends. I've slept over. We slept together a few weeks of dating. Okay, that's confusing. He started not feeling well before he left for a work trip a couple of weeks ago, 2 Mondays ago. Our date was planned for the end of that week when he got back. He asked to reschedule for when he was feeling better, which I totally understood. He couldn't keep food down. He was still feeling sick at the beginning of this week, but said he was starting to feel better and would see a doctor on Friday. He was being warm through text throughout the week. He called me sweet, said that I was a beauty, said he's been stoked to know me after I made a joke about how he should be. He texts me a lot through the day, tells me what he's up to, and one day he did get back to me late. We had talked every day throughout the day since we met 7.5 weeks ago. That seemed to be important to her. Then one day I didn't receive any message and he was on his business trip, which I know is real. He hasn't texted me back since yesterday morning. I know his friend has a series of events this entire weekend, which I know he supported him on. We didn't talk about this. I just know his friend. It's a very big deal what his friend is doing. He also had a very long work week and wasn't feeling well midweek. Am I being ghosted? Do I give him space? My last text wasn't a question, but I figured he could have responded. I haven't seen him in person in 2.5 weeks because of his business trip and illness. I believe him about them. What should I do? I'm so anxious. That anxiety is your gut telling you that he's a motherfucking liar. Okay? Number one, why are you putting all of this into somebody why were you dating just him? You're not in a relationship. Okay? It just kills me how you ladies meet a dude and then you go out with him a couple of times and then you start acting like you guys in a committed relationship, setting off your time and energy and wanting to be with him and all this kind of stuff and just not doing anything with anybody else because you're waiting around for him. He's not your man. Okay? When he said he couldn't meet you, say, okay, well, when you feel better, just, call me and if I'm available, then we'll hang out. Click. And then you be on to the next dude. That's how this is supposed to roll. You're not in a committed relationship. There's no reason for you to be hanging around or writing letters to an advice columnist about someone that you've only been kicking it with 5 times in total over a 2-month period. You're doing too much. Okay, you're doing too much. I don't know what to say. So anyway, like when people have anxiety, it's like deep down inside that he's on some bullshit. He just don't want to tell you. You understand what time it is, but you one of them kind of women that want a man to tell you when you can see the handwriting is on the wall right there in front of your face. Men don't speak with words, they speak with action. When a dude wants to be in your face, you're going to be getting sick of him because he's going to be in your face like all the time. Any excuse to be up in your face, he's going to find it. Oh, I was just driving by and I saw a cloud and it reminded me of your face. So I thought I would stop by and just look at you, give you a hug and a kiss and be on his way. But any excuse to do. They're going to video call you. They're going to, what they call that on the iPhone, where they FaceTime you. Hey, babe, I just want to see what you were doing, what you doing, and show you where they are and all this kind of stuff. That's how a dude does when he wants to be around you. You don't have to ask him where he is and when you're going to see him the next time. He's telling you when you're going to see him. I'll be there in 20 minutes. That kind of stuff. That's how your guy acts when he really wants to be with you, around you, spend time with you, look at you, touch you, hold your hand, go on walks with you, play footsie with you under the table, whatever they doing. That's what they do when they can't get enough of you. You have the opposite situation. You trying to chase dude down. Dude pulling out all the rogue player moves. I'm sick. Usually they'd be like, oh, I'm asleep. So you the sleepingest motherfucker I've ever met. You look like Sleeping Beauty. Your eyes ought to be like 20 years younger than you are for all the sleep you get. Stuff like that. That's the kind of games they play. I was asleep. Or, oh, I'm sick. And they, I've got business trip. I'm doing it. They put up all these boundaries so that you can't really fight them. But is this boss all bullshit? Even when they are sick, if they really want to be with you, they be like, babe, I'm sick. Can you come and take care of me? Can you bring me some Campbell's soup? Can you feed me like my mother used to do? And then they go act like they're 2 years old, sitting up in the bed, hacking and coughing all over you. I don't know. I just don't understand it when it bothers me. It hurts my feels when I see young ladies sacrifice themselves like this. I don't like it. I don't like it when you don't value yourself. I don't like it when you let some man game on you and tell you fanciful lies and tales to keep you on the hook while he investigates other stuff and you just sitting there doing nothing and waiting for him to pay you some attention. I can't stand that. Guys should love yourself more than that. Soon as dude don't want to see you, you go see somebody else. It's just that simple. And all this online dating, you can have a different date every night of the week. It's not that serious. It's not like you're sleeping with all of them. You're just going out with them to meet them. Okay? And most of the time, you're going to go back home and be mad you used up your expensive lipstick to try to look cute. They just that much of a waste of time. So you don't put all this into it, young lady. You're doing too much. Okay, let's move on. I just don't understand. Question number 11. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Gemini, Georgia. Wow, I never heard of it. Oh, no, she is a Gemini out of Georgia, I guess. I don't know. There's no slash here like there usually is. There's a comma. Is she a Gemini out of Georgia? I don't know. I'm unsure. Okay. Hello, I hope you are well. Straight to the point. I am 22. My family is toxic, but I was able to get away for college. I lost my job after graduating and moved back into my parents' house. I got another job recently and I can make it on my own if I can find a cheap enough place to rent. But after experiencing job loss, I want to save up a few thousand to cover 3 months of expenses, moving costs, utilities, startup fees, a car insurance, and basic furniture before moving out again. Despite saying my main focus should be saving, my mother finds every excuse to get me to pay for things. I started turning down invites to eat out because she pressured me to pay the bill because you have a job and no kids or real bills. She has me paying a few hundred in rent each month, but all of this is less expensive than me living on my own, and she knows that. Whenever she is rude to me or I try to decide paying for something, I decline to pay for something, she holds making me pay more in rent or kicking me out over my head. My other siblings, mostly adults, don't have to pay rent. Oh, interesting. They live there too, and you the only one? Once she tricked me into paying a dinner bill, knowing if I refused, my family would raise hell. Interesting. And potentially kick me out. When I lost my job during the pandemic, I lived in my car for a couple of months before going back to my family because I did not want to deal with the disrespect I now take on a daily basis. I have insomnia and intense nightmares about escaping from places, which stopped after I moved out and started again when I moved back in. I hate it here, but I don't want to make a rash decision I will regret later. The stress leads me to shop online impulsively, so I will barely have savings left after putting a down payment on a vehicle. I see my parents spoiling each other and my siblings with expensive gifts all the time, but excluding me and taking my money and rent and other random expenses. And maybe to prove my worth or have some control over my money, I spoil myself. My birthday is coming up, and knowing they might not even buy me a cake or start an argument to purposely ruin the day makes me want to buy myself more and more things to compensate for how sad it makes me feel. I feel like I'm stuck in a cycle. My family preaches about the importance of family, but I feel terribly alone and bullied. However, I'm scared to go back out and end up homeless again. My question is, do I just leave and try figuring it out on my own again, or do I stay longer and build a sturdier safety net? Please let me know your thoughts. Thank you. Number one thing is, whatever them cards you got online, your credit cards and all that stuff, cut that shit up. You don't need to buy nothing. Don't you buy nothing. If you can't eat it and it's like a nutritious meal, you don't buy it. Your priorities are also fucked up. I mean, I don't know, where did you say you live again? I'm sorry. Somewhere in Georgia. Why do you need a car? How you been getting around so far? Your first priority should be saving money to move. Okay, you move out of the toxic situation that you're in for your own mental health. Once you move out, if you want to, you can get 2 jobs because the money that you would be paying to them, you would now be paying for your own rent. You see what I'm talking about? You don't need to buy anything else, or you don't need a car, not as your first expense. Car note and car insurance, that should be the last on your list. Right now, your priority is to move out away from these crazy people. Okay? Look at, shared apartment spaces. Usually it's much less down payment, $500 or something like that, and you can move in. That's what you need to do. And you're going to stop spending money wasting on stupid stuff. That's the main thing you need to do. Your job is to get out of there by the end of next month. Every dime should be going in the bank. You're not going to buy nothing. You're not going to buy yourself a birthday cake either. You don't need that. What are you, 5? People think, no, that shit is important when you are a little kid. You don't need a damn birthday cake. You don't need a birthday celebration anyway. You in your 20s. Wait, come on now. Don't worry about that. You gonna just worry about your birth. Celebrate your birthday once you're in your own spot. Look in the room over here in the chat stream over here, and they see what other ideas they have. Some of them might live in Georgia somewhere and know more about what kind of resources there are to find shared housing. But that's what you need to do. Okay, get the fuck out of there. Stop spending money online. Just wasting up your money trying to make yourself feel better. Make yourself feel better by knowing that you're getting ready to move. Change your priorities here. This is part of maturity, to grow up. You're acting like a little spoiled kid, man. And you would be paying whether you live there or anywhere else. Don't worry about what other people do. You worry about yourself. You would be paying rent there, where you gonna live, anywhere you went. You would be paying some bills. That's just the reality of life. So don't be mad because they're making you pay something. Okay, just get out so you don't have to pay it to them. You'll be paying for your own stuff. And as far as that goes, what you could have done too, instead of, letting them nickel and dime you like that, say, okay, whatever she charged you for rent, add, I don't know, $100 more to it or $150 more to it, and say, that's all I'm going to give you. Make it work. That's for, whatever you want to buy, dinners, groceries, whatever, light bills, whatever, that's going to cover everything of my expense in the house. And then just let it go. Then they want to pay for dinners and stuff, say no. I've already given my money to mom, but she'll pay for it if it needs to be paid for. I don't know, y'all. You're not thinking this through. You're being very emotionally reactive, and it's not going to get you where you're trying to go. It's going to get you stuck at this nonsense. Question number 12 of 16. We got 16 questions today. This is a young man in the 35 to 41 age group out of Los Angeles. Hey, Deb, glad you are back. I am 37 years old and have been dating this 35-year-old woman for about 6 months. The other night, I found out that she gets phone calls from a, quote, just friend. Oh, like Biz Marquis. He say he just a friend from prison. How I found out was that one night we were eating in her car before my shift started, and her cell phone rang, and it said prison/jail. Oh, interesting. She told me that it was her friend, quote, Chris, and explained that he was a longtime friend, and that's all. She said he doesn't have anyone else to talk to, so he calls her. Y'all, I investigated a bit and found out that the reason he went to prison was for raping his 15-year-old daughter. Now I'm all creeped out and wondering if they had any kind of physical relationship, and is that why she is keeping in touch with him throughout the years? Should I be worried, or do you think I am overreacting? You know what I think? I think you a dumbass motherfucker. That's what I think. Let me tell you why I think that. The main thing that you're concerned about here is if she was screwing dude. You're not worried about the moral value and the weirdness of her being friends, calling herself being friends, and taking calls to somebody who would do something so egregious to a child. That's not even what you focused on. You mentioned it, but you just passed on by that to start thinking about what she was doing her pussy and if she fucked this dude or not. That's what you really worried about. And that's why I said you a dumb motherfucker. And I can't with you and I can't with her. Y'all deserve each other. She's stupid and so are you. Both of y'all are stupid. She don't have no sense. What woman would want to be affiliated with a dude like that? Once you know he did some shit like that, I would block him. I don't even know you. Don't in or out of prison. Don't ever talk to me. Don't even know. Y'all don't know you. I don't know your name. Don't know your face. Don't want to have shit to do with you, your family, your descendants, the people who came here before you, your pre-descendants. None of y'all. I don't want nothing to do with none of y'all because there's something wrong with you. And a man like that, you cannot have him around any kids in your family. He can't be around your little neighbors. He can't be around your friends' kids. He can't. He's a weirdo. His own daughter. That's what you see from my perspective as a man. That's what I would be looking at, and that's what I would be talking to her about. Okay, this dude, I found out this and that. How can you be friends with somebody like that? And wait for her to explain and say, okay, well, you know what? This relationship is over because it's obvious that your value system and mine, your moral standards and mine are two completely different worlds. and I just cannot with you, and I don't want you. I don't see how you can call yourself being friends with a dude like that. Deuces, I'm out. That's what I would say. Wow. Wow. I yeah. No. Your priorities are all fucked up, dude. Let's move on to question number 13. This is a young lady in the 22 to 27 age group out of Oakland. Hey, Deb, I need advice about what to do. I recently got a call from my aunt about my mother and her recent health scares, asking me to please take care of my mother and whatnot. I feel so stressed because I have been telling my mother for a long time about her health. She has high blood pressure, at risk for diabetes, is overweight, and has recently got a bad infection in her legs that she has refused to take my advice about and put pressure on. She's going to lose her legs fucking around with diabetes and infections in her legs. I put pressure on doctor to do something to help her. She also has a blood circulatory problem as well. I feel very overwhelmed and guilty because I know she is old. She's in her 60s. That's not that old. And she adopted me when her sister couldn't take care of me, said I would end up in foster care. My other aunt called me and told me that all my mother did for me was taking the time to adopt and raise me as her own and urging me to help her. But I feel like every time I try to give her any direction, she doesn't take it. And I want to eventually live my own life independently, and I am afraid I won't be able to do it if something serious happens with her health. All of the pressure is being put on me, and I don't know what to do. How am I supposed to live my own life while taking care of my mother? At this point, I don't know what to do. I feel bad because she didn't have to adopt me as a baby like she did, and now I feel terrible for wanting to be the one responsible if something bad happens. I will have to take care of her and put all my life plans on the back burner and kiss my love and sex life goodbye. I just need help and a clear path out of this. You're not going to have to do nothing. First of all, what you in Alameda County. Luckily, you from Oakland, so I know what to do. You're going to look online and you're going to look up Alameda County the Social Services Department. And you're going to look on there and they have like reporting cases. Well, there's two avenues you can do. You can make a claim to the Adult Protective Services because one of the clauses where they consider abuse is self-abuse. It's called self-neglect, and that's what your mother's doing. She's neglecting her health. And what she's going to try to do is put the responsibility for her health on you after she goes to rock bottom, and she needs to understand that ain't going to happen. Your ass is going to be conserved and put in a home. You keep it up. And then the other thing that you can do is call social services and ask for a social worker consultation or something like that. They'll come out to the house and they'll talk to her and see what her needs are, what your needs are, and see if there's a way that the county can help mitigate this. But whatever it is, you have to let them know, look, I'm only in my early 20s. I'm not giving up my life for somebody who's intentionally sabotaging their health like she is. I'm not going to do it. So what are her options? And you need to say this in front of your mother and say, what are her options here? Because I'm not going to do it. She's doing everything she can to put herself in an early grave or to cripple herself. And I want to know what her options are. And I want you to tell her what the options are right here in front of her so we both know. And then they'll tell her, well, you'll be conserved. You'll be put in a nursing home. You'll this and that. In the nursing home, that's not the place you want to be. You don't want that. They be having, people be beating up each other. Old people be getting into fights and stuff, going fisticuffs. Old men be fighting each other. There be, believe it or not, sexual assaults, robberies, all kind of stuff, neglect, bed bugs, all kind of crap be going on in them nursing facilities. So, that's what she need to understand. That's where you headed because you're not doing this right. So she need a reality check. But start there. Call social services, and they will direct you to Adult Protective Services, and then you can go from there. Okay? They'll point you in the right direction. Because you may have to, if she keeps this up, you may have to get conserved and go through the whole courts and stuff where someone makes her medical decisions for her because she's not doing a good job. Question number 13. This is oh wait, that's the one I already did. Okay, we're on 14. 14 of 16. You can hear my voice, I'm getting tired. Female, 35 to 41, from Kansas City, Missouri. Male 42 to 49. Okay. My husband has seemed so unhappy for the past few months. I assumed it was due to work stress. Our daughter is now 5, and he revealed to me last night that he never wanted to have kids, and I pushed him to have one. Oh, he said he loves our daughter, but also feels like she's ruined his life, and now he's doomed to be unhappy and to just deal with it. He loves me, and he doesn't want to leave me or end the marriage. But how can I live like this knowing he's unhappy every day? He is 42 and I am 38 if that information is needed. Oh, he's just going through a midlife crisis. Tell him to go buy a Corvette and start wearing gold chains and leave you alone. Silly man. Well, what I would do, this is where I would start. Okay, he's unhappy. Ask him, you know, this, I mean, you may have asked him these and just not said it, but I always like to ask people questions. Like, okay, so what made you decide that you're unhappy because of her versus some other reason? Like, you know, dissatisfaction with your career status, with the fact, inability to accept the fact that you're aging. I mean, how do you know it's not these other things? Why are you putting it on a 5-year-old? And let him give you the answer because he might not really have thought about it. Then you can ask him, well, okay, so you love me and you want to be with me, but our kid is not like something we can just put on a string and fly away. What is it that you want to have happen? When your fantasy and best solution to this problem, what is it that you see going, happening to resolve this problem that we have here? And see what he says. Because he might just tell you, put her up for adoption or give her away or put her in a foster home or something. He may tell you. But chances are he's not going to be that open. He's going to, cop out with, I don't know. I just know that I'm unhappy. So then you can say, well, I'll tell you what we can do. We can get a divorce and you can go on about your business, but you're going to pay $1,000 a month or more in child support. That's what you're going to do. Because one thing that we're not going to have is the child suffer because you want to run off and have this midlife crisis. So you ready to do that? So let's go write up the papers and you can go your merry way and be happy over there somewhere. Because I'm telling you right now, there's no way in this world that you can have a marriage with a man who's resentful of your child. He's going to make that baby's life hell, and it's not fair to her. She didn't ask to be here. He's blaming you for it, but just remind him you didn't get pregnant by yourself. He didn't have no problem doing everything it took to make that goddamn baby, but now he wanted to act like it was just such a horrifying moment for him in his life. I bet you he wasn't screaming and begging for mercy when all that was going on. He was all up there having a good old time, going knee deep, loving every second of it. But now he want to complain. He's full of shit. But yeah, start asking him. Maybe you have some other ones that you would want to know. But I would ask him some very pointed questions. This little vague stuff here, this is insufficient data. You need to really get into his head and find out where this is coming from and why he has reduced it down to being the daughter instead of other issues that's going on in his life. You may or may already know what other stuff is going on in his life. I don't, so I'm just throwing that out there. Usually it has something to do with, work or the fact that they have wrinkles, they're losing their hair, their balls are sagging, they got gray hairs now. The young women don't want him. He's getting a dad bod. It's usually it's something like that that's bothering them, but they don't say it, and they want to blame somebody else. All right, so let's move on to question number 15. This is a young lady in the 28 to 34 age group out of London. Hi, Deb. I found out about you on TikTok and hope you can help me figure out how to handle this situation with my mother. So everyone in this question is of Asian descent. And you know what that means about taking care of aging parents and living at home. Yep. But each time I date my mom, she's almost 60, will be very folky and throws a tantrum. She is a single mom, and I understand that it was not easy to bring me and my sister up. She's 25 and I'm 29. So this is interesting. Recently, I told my mom I was seeing my boyfriend and she wants to start to be cranky again. I've been dating for at least a year, but it was only recently that I told her as we are starting to get serious, and it seems only respectful to let her know who I'm dating. When I was younger, I could understand her trying to be protective, but now that I'm much older, this behavior is not normal to me. When I'm out on a date, she would call me nonstop and demand to know where I am. If I am with my boyfriend at his house, she would start to say nasty things about how I'm not self-respecting, and being promiscuous. She does this with my sister as well. She wouldn't want to say that to me. Which is why my sister is low contact. When I tell her I will be going out on a date, she starts to throw tantrums about how I abandoned her, that she cannot even say anything at home. Keep in mind, she lives in the house that I own and provide for her. For example, I told her me and my boyfriend are going to the park as there's a community fitness session. 1 hour of high-intensity training with a professional trainer. She said it is raining and it will be canceled. I replied that even if it is raining, we will be doing it in the shelters, and she started slamming doors and cupboards, claiming that I threw my temper at her. She has no boundaries. When I was growing up, she would read my diary and say that as a mother, she has a right to my life. She has been divorced from my father for 10 years. Growing up, my dad was very absent. He lived in another country. Damn, he went all the way to another country to get away from her, and I hardly ever saw him. So the divorce wasn't surprising. My father was her only lover, and since then my mother has never dated. The reason for divorce was because my father cheated, and since then she thinks all men are monsters. What can I do to help her? The house we are staying in is actually mine. My sister and I try to be understanding, but in reality think that this isn't right. I think she has not healed from the divorce. As children, we were grateful for her taking care of us, and we don't owe her our lives. Moving out is the last resort, and I really do not wish to, as it's come to that. I am Asian, hence it will be difficult to do no contact, as I will be labeled as abandoning her. Yeah, that's hard when she doesn't have anybody else. Well, you know what you all could do? Don't you know some matchmaker or somebody who's got a daddy who's a widower or something? Somebody, she needs a social life. She needs some like little friends and stuff to hang out with and go play mahjong and all that stuff. She needs like to have some friends that she can do stuff with, go on little trips and go do what you call it? They do Tai Chi at the park and all the stuff I see the little Asian ladies doing. She needs something like that to go on in her life. Well, you know, I would put out some feelers, um, and see what you can, what you can line up and start. You might have to bring her, which, you'll have to go with her. You or your sister would have to go with her a time or two to get her acclimated to it. But after that, she should be good to go by herself. Like, is there no Asian community center? I mean, what, you got to help her, okay? You got to help her. Just, I mean, I understand her. She feels alone. She feels threatened. She feels like she's losing her daughters, which is her only family, sounds like, right? You didn't mention any other relatives. So, of course, she's feeling threatened by the fact that some dude is going to come and take you away. I understand her mental state. I do. I kind of sympathize with her. But on the other hand, you guys love your mother. You have a special kind of cultural situation here that must be respected. And so you got to figure out a way to help her, kind of branch her out, spread her wings. So guide her to that. Okay, you don't want to hurt her even more, but she needs to start being more independent of you and your sister emotionally. That's what I see as the problem. But as far as you being promiscuous, so it's like, yeah, Mom, too bad you didn't try it, because it's like, I don't know what Dad's was like, but my boyfriend be putting it down. It's great, but you missed out on all of that, I don't know. She wouldn't want to say that to me because I would just wreck her life with my responses. But those are my suggestions. So you and your sister put your heads together and see what kind of stuff you can come up with, because there's got to be a big Asian community there that you guys can tap into. Get her hooked up with some little widowers or divorced dude about her in her age group, so she can at least have companionship. You know what I mean? And so she can see that not all men are dogs. I mean, there are some that are, especially by the time they get in their 60s, they ain't trying to alley cat around because shit don't work. They can't. They'd be happy if they could do it one time a day, let alone be a couple times a week. Be happy with that. Okay, now that was an interesting question. The final question of today, question number 16. Remember the days when we used to do 26? Those days will probably come back, but they're not going to be back for a minute. Y'all going to have to make do with 16. I think that's about the most I could do. Okay, and again, look in the chat stream. They have some ideas for you as well. Question number 16. This is a young lady in the 28 to 34 age group out of Ashford, Kent in the UK. So my husband and I went out for dinner to favor the local pub, to our favorite local pub, I'm sorry. Two younger women who are married and engaged were talking at the bar. Two married guys come in. One tried to take the stool a woman had been sitting in, but she came back and he apologized and started flirting, very obviously set up. Throughout the dinner, he's staring at her repeatedly, like full-on staring and smiling in a creeper way. Not a good-looking woman geek, but repeated checking out by. As my husband and I got ready to leave, one of the married guys approached the girl and asked one of them who was driving them home. One of the women answered that she was the driver. They were not drunk, so it wasn't a safety issue. He then comes back with, how far away do you live? Where do you live, etc. Oh, that's very inappropriate. At that point, my husband and I left. I was just flabbergasted that this dude was sporting a wedding ring who didn't know these people. He introduced himself. That would so blatantly test the waters at a small family-run bar early in the evening. And to be honest, I felt bad for his wife. Granted, I know nothing about these people, but to see this on display obviously bothered me. Have you or the ladies watching ever witnessed anything so obvious? By the way, this was not late at night. It was only 8 p.m. and it was on a Wednesday. Oh, wow. Okay, I hope these young ladies, too bad you guys had to leave, but I hope these young ladies had enough wherewithal to tell the men that they don't need to know where they live or how far away they live. Trying to get an invite over to their house so you could get some bootay. That's what that was all about. Of course, just because someone has on a wedding ring doesn't mean that they're really married. So, he could be one of them, mass murderers and trying to throw women off, thinking, he's harmless because he's married. I be watching them crime shows. Half them dudes that be doing all kind of serial killings be married. They be out at night and roaming around killing folks. And their wives and kids be at home not knowing anything that's going on. So that in itself doesn't really mean that's not an indicator that this dude is any less risky than a single dude. It means nothing. You can buy a ring at the pawn shop. You know what I mean? That don't mean nothing. But my concern is, the creepy stalking, leering, and then asking them where they live. When you put all that together, that's very high risk. And even when the girl's leaving, right, they're going to leave in their car. There's no guarantee that these guys wouldn't follow them home. This is a very scary story, really, when I think about it. But you seem to be surprised that the married guys were hitting on the girls and how bold they were. There's whole websites dedicated to men cheating on their wives. That's what they do on this whole website. They do that on Facebook. They do it on all social media. They call it sliding into a woman's DMs. So they slide in there, and sometimes they post inappropriate pictures, and sometimes they, straight out solicit them. Tell them all the stuff that they could do for them and all this kind of stuff. So, don't be surprised at anything you see. You just got to peek into the underbelly of marriage. And why a lot of women don't want to be married. It's like they feel like, what's the point? Because the husbands ain't about nothing anyway. They don't hold, they don't hold the vows. They don't hold the vows. So what's the point of taking them? So it's something to think about, something to think about. So anyway, we made it through another show. We're going to do the shows instead of Tuesdays on Thursdays because I need a whole week in between with my therapy and stuff. They be killing me. Like I had therapy yesterday and I came home and slept 10 hours. He kicked my butt. I was so tired. So, this is taking me a long time to recover, a lot longer than I thought it would. So I get tired real easy and it takes me a long time to recover. So, you guys, be patient. I appreciate everybody's great thoughts and supportive comments as I navigate this situation and try to get back to my whole self. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's taking a little longer than I thought it would. So, everybody, thank you. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't. and share a video. It can be this one or any other over 1,000 videos that are on this channel. There's all topics on every topic you could, a video on every topic you could think of. So be sure to come on back next Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.